Come with me, and you will see a place that was of fun to be. Say hi, join hands, 'cause we're all good friends with our neighbors round the world. Let's be friends all round the world.
Aloha, Kamali'i. That means hello, children. I'm Beryl Burnett, and we're visiting the most colorful state in our United States today, and certainly one of the most interesting, where there are palm trees and the sun shines all year round. People love to dance and sing, and pineapples grow. Let's say aloha, Kamali'i, to the Kamali'i who are visiting with us, the way the people in Hawaii do with a lei of flowers, which Melani's brought with her. Aloha, Melani.
Aloha.
Aloha, Johnny. Aloha, Tommy. Aloha, Allison. Now, where is Hawaii? Let's see. Here's the United States, right here, the mainland of the United States. And then, here in the Pacific Ocean is the state of Hawaii. It's our only state entirely surrounded by water. And the very first people who came to Hawaii sailed all the way from Bora Bora and Tahiti in outrigger canoes, following the North Star. They were great navigators, and they brought vegetable plants and dogs and chickens and pigs from the Polynesian islands. Now, this outrigger canoe was made by a keikikane. That means boy in Hawaii. And he's wearing a Hawaiian flowered shirt. And his ancestors may have been among the early pioneers. Now, his name is Kamwela. That means Samuel in English. And Kamwela lives in the big city of Honolulu. It's a very special city because it waves right down to the blue-green Pacific Ocean, sparkling in the sunshine. Now, let's meet a few of Kamwela's friends from school, shall we? This is Mary. Her ancestors were English, and they were the next people to come to Hawaii with the explorer, Captain James Cook. Then came the Americans and the French and the Russians. And Suli's ancestors came from China to work in the sugar fields of Hawaii. Then people came from Puerto Rico and Korea and the Philippines, and Jimmy Shigura's ancestors came from Japan. In Hawaii, people from many different backgrounds have lived and worked together for many years, and they're a good example for all Americans. And all Hawaiians love holidays. Everybody celebrates everybody else's holidays as well as his own. And Mary loves to put on her Chinese dress for the Chinese Moon Festival, and to carry platters of cookies and fruits all shaped round like the moon. Suli's favorite holiday is the 4th of July. Last year, she played Betsy Ross in the 4th of July pageant. Jimmy likes Boys' Day, and he gets all dressed up in his kimono, and he makes a fish kite, and later it will fly in the sky with all the other fish kites. And, of course, everybody loves Aloha Week, when they wear flower leis and they dance and they sing under the palm trees all week long. It's vacation time, and Kamwela is going to visit his grandmother, Tutu Wahine. Let's leave the city of Honolulu and go with Kamwela to the island of Hawaii. There's his grandmother's house behind the palm trees. And there's Kamwela coming out of the house. How he loves to visit his grandmother. One of the first things Camuela does is to run and see if the famous and mysterious fish ponds of Hawaii are still there. Of course they are. And his grandmother tells him that the little people called the Menahunes made them hundreds of years ago, and that sometimes at night the little people come back. That night, for a special treat, his grandmother lets him sleep out on a straw mat. And no sooner does he close his eyes than he hears a funny little voice. And there, right next to him, is a funny little man.
Aloha, Camuela. Would you like to know some old legends from Hawaii about how the world came to be as it is today?
Camuela asks, like the stories Tutu Wahine tells. Oh, yes, I would. And the little Menahune begins the stories. And this is the way he tells them. Once upon a very, very long time ago, the heavens pressed right against the earth, making the people all bent over and the leaves of the trees flat, flat, flat. The great giant god Maui, stronger than the strongest of giants, decided it was time to change a few things. So he took a deep breath, and he put his hand under the heavens and lifted them. Oh, it was hard. And he took a deep breath again, and he lifted some more. This time the heavens raised a little higher, and as the heavens raised higher, the trees grew taller, and the heavens raised higher and higher to the tops of the mountains and way, way up high until the sky was where it is today, and the trees grew tall. But the leaves of the trees are still flat, 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 from the time the heavens pressed them tight against the earth. And the Hawaiian people say that although they're separated, heaven and earth have never lost their love for each other. The warm sighs of the earth reach for the sky, and men call them mists, and the sky sheds tears, and we call it what? Rain. Now it seems that men had no fire way back longer ago than ever, and one day Maui smelled something delicious. He sniffed and he sniffed, and he followed the lovely aroma. What was it? Was it a sort of flower? No. Well, what could it be? And then he saw some birds in a clearing, and the birds were roasting their food over some dancing colored ribbons, sending smoky mists into the air. That was the magic that made the food smell so good. So Maui decided to find out how they did such a marvelous thing. And he took 2 giant tiptoes. 1, 2. And he grabbed the leader bird, who was a mud hen, as it happens. And he asked the mud hen, "What are those magic ribbons?" And what do you think the mud hen answered?
Fire! That's what they are. Any bird knows that. What a foolish giant.
How do you make fire?
Well, I don't think I'm going to tell him. By rubbing 2 leaves together, huh?
Maui tried, and of course it didn't work.
How do you make fire?
I'm still not going to tell him. By rubbing 2 seashells together.
Maui tried, but all he got were blisters. He got very angry and said,
I know what to rub to get fire.
And he rubbed the mud hen's head so hard that all the feathers came off.
Stop! I'll tell you everything. You have to find very, very dry wood. Oh, my poor head.
And the Hawaiians say that ever since, man has had fire, and the mud hen has been bald. There's another legend about Maui that tells how in those days the sun used to rise from a volcano and race across the sky and set. People could hardly get any work done at all. People would go out of their houses to work and would barely be started when, plunk, the sun would drop into the ocean again. They could barely get their tapa cloth pounded, and before it had time to dry, plunk, the sun was gone again. Every day was just the same. Run out to work, run back to sleep. Run out to work, run back to sleep. Oh, dear, it was tiring and not very practical. So Maui decided to fix things. He gathered together the strongest vines he could find, and he wove them into a net. And then he waited for the sun to rise. Oops, he missed it that time. Next time, he caught it. The sun pushed this way and that, but he couldn't get out of the net. And the sun said, "Set me free! I demand that you set me free! Only if you promise to slow down, so people have more time to work. Will you promise?" "Oh, well, I can see that it's useless to argue. All right, I promise." So Maui set him free. And sure enough, ever since, the sun has taken a full day to cross the skies, and man can get a full day's work done, and children can go to school. The little Menehune finished his story about the great god Maui, and he looked up at the sky and said to Kamuela,
It's almost sunrise time right now. I can't stay out any longer. Aloha!
and he was gone, quick as a sunbeam. Had he really been there? Was Kamuela dreaming? Who can tell? All we know is that the Hawaiians have been telling stories about the great god Maui and the little Menehune people for as long as anyone can remember. And for all we know, they always will. There's something else Hawaiians will always do, and that's to make things out of the tea leaves growing in everybody's backyard or front yard. And they're used to make grass skirts like this. They're used for cooking sometimes, and for plates, and children use a branch of tea leaves like sleds to slide down the sides of volcanoes or cliffs. Now, in the Hawaiian language, cliffs are called pali. Can you say that? Pali. Good. And the Hawaiian language only has 12 letters. The vowels are the same as ours, but instead of being pronounced A-E-I-O-U, they're A, E, dot the I, O, U. And this is the way the alphabet is taught in school. Alepia, ele paneo kai iku haukele ave o nahia ai o panaka ka A, E, dot the I, O, U. Hekele munu pive. Now, Hawaiians love music and songs and dance movements with the hands, called hula movements. And there's a song written by the last queen of Hawaii, Queen Liliuokalani. Means hello, it means goodbye, and it means we hope to see you again very soon. I think maybe you can help sing this song. Here we go. Aloha, aloha, ike ona ona no ikalipo. The time has when we must part until we meet again.